You don't mind having a conversation? I want to hear y'all take on this one. It was a quick turnaround, very quick turnaround. The jury came back quick, fast, and in a hurry. I anticipated them coming back quick, fast, and in a hurry, but not to the to what they found. I was anticipating manslaughter. I did not anticipate straight up them getting it to murder off the rip. Come talk. Come holler. Holler. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. And I do mean talk. I ain't inviting nobody up here to scream, holler, get emotional. We ain't doing all that. If you get like that, we cutting the conversation off, and we're not doing emotional nonsense today. One, I don't got the bandwidth today, and two, it ain't getting no answers answered. So if you want to talk about the verdict, we can talk about the verdict, but we are not going to fight about the verdict. You disagree, you agree, you neutral. I just want to know what y'all's take on this is. I look, Lisa, I agree that they had presented, the defense didn't really do a good job of defending their guy. And granted, there was a lot more information against Karmelo than there was for Karmelo. The most they could have done for Karmelo is try to harp on his personality and his reasoning and his emotional state. That's the most they could have done. And they didn't do a good job of that. I'm sorry, they didn't. The people that they did bring to talk about and for him failed to help him out. They found some of the worst people to talk about Karmelo. So that I can't blame white people or nothing about. This was Karmelo's defense people that did a horrible job of bringing character witnesses. They sucked at their job. Let's just be honest. The defense sucked at their job. If they were supposed to defend him, they didn't do a good job. Okay, mind you, I know they didn't have a whole lot to defend. They didn't have a whole lot to defend because he did end somebody's life. So I'm not saying no. But their job is to try and make the person come across as not guilty. They didn't do that. They didn't do that. And they didn't do that. They couldn't do it, really, because, like I said, there was far more information to the contrary, and he admitted to doing it. So, but like I said, I don't know. I did not anticipate murder being the thing. I expected manslaughter. I expected manslaughter. I'm not, look, Tris, I'm not saying that I would have agreed with the character of Karmelo. I'm not saying that. I am telling you that the defense has a job to do. I'm not saying I agree with the defense. I'm not saying I would have been pro the defense. I'm telling you that the defense didn't even attempt to make him look good. That wasn't even their attempt. They didn't even try. It is their job to defend their guy. You can't say no. That's their job. The defense's job is to defend. They sucked at defending the dude. Okay, so you don't have any information that said, okay, you know what? Yes, we did. He did end the man's life. We have that much on table. The most you could have done was at least mitigate the fallout. They didn't even do that. They sucked at their job. They sucked at their job. That's why I say he would eventually be caught either way. It would have been either murder or manslaughter. There was no other outcome. There was not going to be a scot-free. He was going to go to jail regardless. And he still will go to jail regardless. Their appeal isn't going to get them anything less than manslaughter. And they will appeal. Because they're a defense team. You best at least appeal. But I don't think they're going to get a different verdict to the point where he's going to go home. He's not going home. His days are done free. His days are done free. Warranted? Yeah, because you ended somebody's life. You acted contrary to what was done to you. You did the most. You did the most. No, he ain't gonna be out in 5. If it's manslaughter, he getting far more than 5. He ain't getting no less than 15. If he gets manslaughter, he's not getting any less than 15 years. I'm telling you now, he's not going to get less than 15 years if it's manslaughter. If the murder is upheld, he's going to get more than likely close to life. 25 to 30 at minimum, but I don't think it. Karmelo's not looking at coming home anytime before he's a middle-aged adult. Regardless of the outcome of manslaughter or murder, he's not coming out of that jail cell until the middle of his life. He threw it away. He threw it away. He threw it away. This was all on all the individuals that were involved in this. If he makes it out alive, yeah. I don't know that the circumstances are going to be warranting it only 5 years. You got to remember this. He admitted to it. Then he's already tried to make his case the instant it happened. So no, I don't think that'll be the case. No. Not to only mention the fact that they tried to lie about how it all panned out. That's the biggest issue here. I think why they came back with murder, and I'll tell you this, and remember I told you that these people on the defense didn't do a good job. There was one individual that lied about what he said he saw. If you perjure yourself trying to save somebody's life, you are making the person look as though, yeah, he knew what he was doing. I think that's probably why they gave them the guilty for murder. I think that's why they did it. Because if you are going to try and make somebody out to be something that you obviously can't, no. You set your boy up. You set him up. You set him up. You set him up. In words of proof that he lied, that the person on the stand lied. He said he saw when he didn't see. That's a lie. I don't know what you mean. What are you talking about? He said he saw something when you didn't see it. That's a lie, isn't it? Is that not a lie? The hell? Like, what are you talking about? I'm going based on what the people in the courtroom said. What are you talking about? Was I there? Were you there? So how do you know he didn't lie? If you're going to ask me something so stupid, if I didn't see it and you didn't see it, how do you know he didn't lie? Go ahead, answer my question. No. How do you know? You're the one making a claim. You're saying I wasn't there and I didn't know. So how do you know? If you're making a counterclaim, you must have information I don't have. So how do you know? How do you know? I'm not making anything up. This is part of witness testimony. You can go and watch the transcripts are out there, dummy. The transcripts are out there. We're not looking at video footage. We're talking about transcripts. The transcripts are out there. Witnesses and video footage showed that obviously they didn't show the truth because he got murdered. What are you talking about? Y'all are wild. Okay, right. Cleat sharpener, and he was ganged up on. He was beat up. All that story is now all debunked because they gave him murder. How am I butthurt? I'm glad that the verdict, at least they got him time. What are you talking about? You think I'm on Karmelo's side? You think I'm on Karmelo's side? I am not on Karmelo's side. I am not. I'm a neutral party watching a case where two people were involved in an altercation. One person decided that they were going to end somebody's life by pulling out a weapon instead of using their fists. He's getting what he deserves, time in prison. The only question is now whether they're going to make it less than murder or more. That's all. They're going to appeal this. That's the job of the defense, is to appeal. Does he deserve murder for what he did? Yeah. I don't think they got it wrong. I think people are going to think that, yes, there's an egregious act here, but I don't think it's wrong. No, it's not wrong. Did he kill him? Here's a question. Did he end Austin Metcalf's life? The answer is yes, he did. He admitted to it. So that's off the table of whether or not he did it, right? So he did it. Cool. So people are going to say, why did he do it? So he did it because he got bullied. Well, that's been shown that he didn't get bullied because he didn't know him. He did it because he got punched. He didn't get punched. That's also been shown to be a lie too. So he didn't get punched. He was asked to leave. That's been verified too. So that's another lie when people say he didn't get asked to leave. So you want me to believe all the lies that we were told before should now play an impact on him going free? No. No. At minimum, manslaughter, murder is justified in the verdict. It's justified. I don't know what else you expect people to do. I don't know how else you expect to look at this. Yeah, I think there will be riots. Yeah. I think there will be riots. And here's the thing. Here's my advice to people out there. If you see the riots, do not go close to it. Don't. Let them riot. Hear me out. Let them riot and end themselves. Let them do what they got to do. If that's how they feel like they should behave, both white, black, all the colors out there, the rainbow, if y'all feel the best result of this and the answer to this is to go out into the street and fight each other, go do it. However, if you don't end up going home that night, I don't want to hear you nothing, no complaining. I don't want to hear nobody saying, oh, he was a good, no. You think that this is the best answer, so go ahead. Go ahead. I ain't got nothing to say to y'all. Please feel free to do as much as you want. I will sit back in my room, in my house, and watch y'all end yourself. That's what you want, so it's okay. All I'm saying is you've got to use reason in this. And here's the reasoning I'm using. 2 males who had egos as any teenager male would. 2 individuals that could not regulate emotions long enough to reason through what the outcomes could be, engaged each other. 1 escaped with his life and 1 didn't. The one that took the life of the other is now paying the consequence for the actions he took. The actions he took ended the life of another individual, and now his life will be ended by law. I don't see how this is unfair. This is not unfair. This is completely fair. He deserves to go to prison. He deserves it. 100% Karmelo deserves prison. I don't care how he got here, but he got here. He deserves it. I'm just telling you that I don't think his people are going to leave it at murder. They're going to appeal, and they're more than likely going to get the murder conviction overturned to manslaughter. That's what I believe will happen. That's what I believe will happen. Manslaughter is what it's going to end up changed to.
Here, I have a question. How is this not self-defense?
Because they said it wasn't.
Two bigger white boys pushing up on the
That's
smaller
not what
black
happened.
guy.
So stop making stuff up. That's not what happened.
Wait, so what happened? Am I getting it wrong?
Yes, you're getting it wrong. He was not ganged up on. He was not beat up. No, that's a lie.
So that's definitely murder then, huh?
That's what they said, right?
So what happened? Why did he
He
stab two
pulled
people
out
for
the
no
knife
reason?
after he was touched. What he told them, don't touch him. They touched him. He stabbed him. That's what happened. So you
So
think
that's
that's a
definitely
justified
murder.
action to being touched?
Oh, well, thank you for correcting me, because that's definitely murder then.
No, do you
That's
think it's
crazy.
justified to have to be touched and you stab somebody? Is that justifiable?
No, he should still have prison time, for
Okay,
sure.
that's what I'm saying. He should be at minimum manslaughter.
Yeah,
But the
how
jury
long is
said
manslaughter?
murder. The jury said
How many
murder.
years?
Murder, he could get life. If they uphold murder, it could be life.
That's crazy. He should definitely get some time in prison for sure.
Now, I'm not saying that he will get life because, like I said, the defense's job is to defend their guy. And they're supposed to defend him. That's their whole purpose. I'm not saying that whether or not it's right or wrong for them, the people had to defend OJ. People have to defend Marilyn Manson. People had to defend a whole bunch of folks. They defend folks. Charles Manson, they defend, what's his name, Jeffrey Dahmer. They defend. That's their job, is to defend, whether we like it or not. And their job is to do the best defense that they can do. But sometimes the evidence is overwhelming to the job you have. And that's the case that they ran into with this buzzsaw. They couldn't do anything about the information that was out there.
All right, well,
He
I
admitted to
appreciate
it.
you, man.
Yeah?
I appreciate you, bro. I'll see
Yeah.
it.
He admitted to it. So I can't get mad at the jury. They came up with what they came up with. Let's see who else is here. Let's get blended. We'll do one at a time, people. I'm not doing multiple at one time, okay? Just so you all know, because I don't want over talking for 5 different people on the screen. Yes, blended. Thoughts?
It took, in my opinion, the trial took a little bit too long
Mm-hmm.
because, like I said, this happened last year. Took a very long time, but they got it right. That's all I think about.
So, in your opinion, you think it was murder, or do you leave any room for a manslaughter option as being a more appropriate?
Personally, I don't really care because in my opinion, it should have been a conviction no matter what,
Mm-hmm.
because it sends a precedent out to the younger youth, like, hey, it's not okay to bring pokes to school and poke people with them.
Right. Right.
Whether it was M1 or manslaughter, it doesn't really matter. Do I think it was manslaughter? Yeah, because the whole touch me and see what happens, that kind of just predicates you knew what you were going to do with this pokey poke that you had.
Precisely. And I
So
think
he
that's
kind
what
of
the
put it on
jury. I
himself.
think that's what the jury saw, is that this idea of having something, saying that I would be willing to use it, as opposed to it being an impulse thing. I think that's probably what took the manslaughter off the table. But again, if they do decide to do an appeal, they might have a different jury loadout that will give them something else. I don't
I
know.
don't, I don't think he'll get it on appeal because of the evidence. Like
Yeah, yeah,
him already admitting to it to the officer proves that there was no gang up. He said he used individual pronouns. Like there's nothing really he can fight against. That's why his lawyer just said, kill it.
And look, I'm torn as to whether or not they should have had him take the stand, and say what he had to say.
Nah.
But if no, here's why. Here's why. It could have gone both ways, right? Suppose Carmelo took the stand, and when he took the stand, he was actually able to sway the jury based on the things he said. Okay, so like he was really remorseful about something, and the jury could have looked at that and said, you know what? He really didn't mean to kill him, but it's still manslaughter, and they wouldn't do the murder. However, the flip side could have happened. He could have got up there and got absolutely eaten alive by the prosecution and made him look even worse. And then he would have definitely for sure gotten the murder. So I understand why they decided not to do it, but I probably would have done it anyway. I probably would have put him on the stand. I would have
I
put him
mean,
on
I
the
was
stand.
thinking about it, but the prosecution would have just eaten him alive. Just
Yeah,
the
they would
question,
have.
like, hey,
They would have.
why didn't you leave? Why did you pull it out your back? Like all those questions, he would probably ended up crying thinking about it, and it would have probably just killed the defense even more.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that. I could see that. I can definitely see that. Street King, if you're going to talk all that smack about Uncle Tom, at least read the book, bro. Read the damn book, Uncle Tom's Cabin, before you call me something, because Uncle Tom was the hero, and I'm okay with being Uncle Tom. I'm happy about that. Thank you so very much. I appreciate the compliment. Anytime anyone can call me Uncle Tom, it means that one of two things is true. They're slower than me, and they don't read. So thank you. But thank you, Blended. Let me bring somebody else up.
Right.
Let's bring Rachel Bennett up here. Unless she's gone again. Let me see. Rachel,
Hi.
hi. What's your thoughts on this?
I do think they got it right. And the unfortunate circumstance is that we are now going to have a young man in jail, whether it be murder, manslaughter. And unfortunately, he's going to have to live with the fact that he took someone's life for the rest of his life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the true injustice of this whole situation is that unfortunately, a lot of narratives have been played over the years, and that this poor young guy thought that it was okay to take a knife to attract meat,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and that he thought it was okay to stab somebody because of whatever the reason is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, whether it be these kids had beef with each other, but it's just there's such a lack of concern for human life nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter color of skin, it doesn't matter anything. Life is life, and I feel sad that this kid is now going to have to live with this the rest of his life, regardless of whether it's murder or manslaughter,
Right. Right. Right.
and
Two
it's
lives were
just
lost. Period.
exactly. Yeah, and that's exactly what it boils down to. Two lives were lost.
Yeah.
One is in a different place, but one's going to have to live with it the rest of his life.
Yeah. Yeah. And unfortunately, you have to live with it with a record after as well.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's a hard thing too.
Yeah, and a lot of this boils down to people not emotionally regulated and people buying into this idea that because of how you were born, that gives you the right to act a certain way, both white and black. And
That is
again, those are
correct.
the people that have no intelligence to function outside of the remedial things of my skin. If that's how you function, then it tells me that you never really graduated from kindergarten, and two, the only thing you can think of that's of value to you is something that you never even had a hand in, and I don't see how you can do that. So that's kind of
I
crazy.
completely agree.
It's kind of crazy. Again, Street King, you can talk all the talk. Just come on up and say what you got to say. Your fingers might end up getting tired. I mean, you can come verbalize what you got to say. Ain't nobody stopping you from getting on the screen. I mean, I don't know why you all just feel the need to stay in the comment section because you want to be seen somehow, but you can make your name known today by just jumping in the comment, out of the comment section into the pot, bro. Come on in. But anyway, thank you for coming up, ma'am. Let me see if I can get somebody else up in here.
Thank you.
Let's get muddy. I mean, we're not going to get muddy, but muddy's the next person up. Yes, sir. What's your viewpoint about this? Oh, he dropped. Okay. He don't want to talk. Slick. Let's see what Slick's got to say. Slick. Give me a 2 cent, Slick. Laugh all you want, Street King, but I offered you the chance to come have a conversation. So it must mean one of two things. You don't want to have a conversation or you can't talk properly. I'm thinking it's the latter. You just don't know how to talk. So you don't want to sound more stupid than you already type. So I understand. Anyway, go ahead, Slick.
My question is, was Anthony provoked by his friends to go under the other team's tent?
Don't
Is there
know.
any proof of that?
No, there's no proof of anything. The last we heard by transcripts was that he was in the dugout at one point with a friend, and they were told to leave the dugout. They left the dugout, and they eventually went over to the tent area. And then once they got to the tent, they were asked to leave, and that's when things kind of went south with the touching and the pulling out. So.
Okay. All right. That was my only question.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
That's what again, that's just from the transcripts. There's the video footage that they say exists is not the most clear. It's very grainy. So we're not banking on that. We got to go by what the witnesses said. And very few witnesses said anything to the contrary of those statements. So.
Thank you.
No problem. Let's see here. Who else is up? All right. Holla, what you think? You got an echo. Believe this.
It's Michael Barton. How you doing, Michael?
Can't hear you.
I'm trying. Come on. All right. How is that better?
That there you go. Yeah.
God damn, man. I was trying to tell you who this is. It's Michael Barton.
Well, hey,
How
Mike.
you doing, sir?
The picture looks fatter. That's why I couldn't recognize you.
Yeah, definitely. No, I'm a little
You put
skinny
some
right
weight
now.
back on. That's good, brother.
Yeah. I think I'm doing okay right now.
Okay, good.
I
'Cause-
hadn't seen you on here forever, man.
yeah, I
And
know. It's been. I've lost like I don't know how many accounts, bro. That's why.
I get it. Same thing here too. But you know what? The algorithm was listening to me because I just got out of court.
Mm-hmm.
I had to file a protective service order on somebody.
Oh.
And when you do that, yeah, just remember our 2 interviews that we did.
Yeah,
It's
we
all
got to
the
have a
stuff.
third. We got to have a follow up, bro. We got to catch up.
Man, I'm all about it. I was just telling my son about the interview we did here when I lived in the parking lot.
Yeah, that's
Before I got a
been
house,
that's
yeah,
been what
we did
4
that.
years now? 3 years?
It's about 2.5, 3 years,
Yeah,
and we
yeah.
did that on MK Ultra.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And now the whole MK Ultra thing's going on. They supposedly seized the files, so they couldn't release them. So that was disappointing. But no, I literally just got out of court having to file a protective service order on somebody that was just giving me a hard time. Threats, the whole 9 yards, like I've explained that they do to me. And you go to the magistrate here, which actually isn't a judge. They're just somebody voted in and went to the magistrate, and they granted mine, and but then they also filed one for me too, and I was like, oh no, this is not has nothing to do with me. So I got one put on me too. So I filed an appeal, and I just went back to the appeals court, circuit court, represented myself pro se today, to try to add a couple more people on that, to try to protect myself and my home and my family. And I don't want to say too much about it, other than I don't feel like I got they just kept everything in place.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I took in some great relevant evidence. I used all the right words and used all the right procedures, and it still didn't seem to matter. So that's frustrating, and it works right into this topic that you're talking about right now. I haven't got all the details of this specific one, so I can't really say too much about this one. So I'm apologize about that, but I just wanted to jump in here and say hi to you, man.
Hey man, hit me up anytime, bro. And we go. I definitely need to get the part 3 going for that follow up for sure.
The sooner the better.
My number ain't changed. So just text me.
Okay.
If you want, just inbox me here, and I'll exchange if you don't have it.
Yes, sir. That sounds good, man. It's good to see you. I'm
Same here, brother.
gonna get on the next person and get this tie off.
All right, no problem.
All right, buddy. Talk to you later.
Channel. I want to see Channel. What's your name? Channel's lover. You first of all, you don't get to control who my friends are when they come talk to me. Okay, so let's get that 100% copacetic. You don't control who I speak to, especially if it was one of my friends. You can feel free to not listen and leave. It's really that simple. But you don't get to decide when I talk to my people. That's not your call. Topic or no topic. I just thought I want to make sure I get that through your thick skull, that you're not the arbitrator of those who hear. So just so you know, if he wanted to come up and talk about a whole different case, he can do it, and I can just change the topic altogether. So yeah, there's that. Let's see now. Who else here? Yes, here. Brett. Let's bring Brett up. Yes, Brett. What's your thoughts on the case?
How you doing today, man?
I'm good. I'm real good.
Well, a year ago when that boy lost his life was a sad day. And today is another sad day because of today's youth. A young man's life was lost, and now a family's going to lose his life, or he's apparently going to go to jail. But I was born in 1970, and I've been brought up around all walks of people. And I've met great people from all walks of life, and I have. And then in the 90s, my life took a turn. I went to the joint, and even still met good people in the joint, all walks of life. I'm a firm believer that there's good in everybody. And I don't care what skin color, race, creed, religion, sexual orientation, I believe there's good in everybody. And I just want to leave you with this. Thank you for allowing me on here. I just want one day for all of us, and I know it's not going to happen in my lifetime because I'm 56 now. I wish everybody could just realize right is right and wrong is wrong. And if you do wrong, you got to be punished just as I was. And don't let the social media and don't let politics turn something into something it doesn't have to be. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I've never once, and I'm a white man, never once have I ever had a problem because of the color of my skin being in prison or the color of my skin being a free man. I've always been treated with respect. I've always respected people. So there's more good people running around in this world than what social media and politics lead on. I want to God bless everybody listening to me right now. Thank you for allowing me on. And I just hope one day we can all be what the Bible says. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you for joining. For those that are thinking there won't be an appeal, by law, they have to give him an option for appeal. That's going to happen. The appeal will be granted. point blank period. So not there's not a matter of whether he's going to be given the right to. He has the right to appeal. That's a guaranteed right that he has. That's not removed off the table whatsoever. And like I said at the beginning, any good defense will do an appeal. Any smart person that has to defend somebody will make sure that they appeal. What's going to happen with the appeal? I don't know. But if they are given the appeal and a change of verdict, the most they're going to get out of this is manslaughter. They're not going to get a not guilty. That's not on the table. A not guilty is now is just a matter of how much time he's going to get if it stays murder. There's a possibility of life, but there's also just a possibility of 15 years. But either way, he's going to serve time. There is no options of getting scot-free. That's not going to happen. Not going to happen. The fact is, he did take somebody's life. He admitted to taking somebody's life. How he took somebody's life, it don't matter. But he's got a lot to overcome when it comes to the filing an appeal. If if his current way of operating with the defense he's got is any indicator, he doesn't have a very good chance of that appeal going his way. Let's be honest, all right? The people that were defending Karmelo sucked at their job. They sucked at their job. Point blank period, they sucked at their job. And granted, they had a lot to overcome because all the cards were stacked against him. Every last thing. His actions were stacked against him. The reasons for his behavior was stacked against him. Him being asked to leave was stacked against. Everything was stacked against him because he was indeed guilty as hell of about a lot of stuff. The only question was whether or not he did it like maliciously or on the spur of the moment. But him having the knife to begin with, problematic, bro. That was problematic. Problematic. Him taking up like a nearby pole or something and smacking somebody, that's one way. But you walked into the location with it in your, and you told people you had it in your, you warned somebody with your hand in your back. I can't blame the jury for coming to murder. I can't, there's no, in my head, I cannot blame them for finding murder. I didn't expect it, but I can't blame them either. I can't. JK. Let's see what JK's got to say. Go, JK.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Good.
Hey, so I just recently started getting into this case. I know it happened a little while ago, but from what I've been understanding is just I understand the jury and I understand everybody that's upset about the situation, but it seems like they chose the right option, you know? I mean, he put himself in the circumstances. If it was a white man on a black man per se, I'm sure there wouldn't be as much guff about it because it's clear as day. You know, like he made these choices. Mm-hmm. You know, he warned people about it, and yeah, like it's unfortunate that 4 parents lost their sons today. Well, not just today, but just in general. You know, event, like yeah. it just in the event, like it's extremely unfortunate, and you know, a lot of people don't want to take in part of just like, yeah, a young man made a mistake, but you know, it hurts more than just the victim and the perpetrator per se. Like it's a whole family, it's a whole lineage, it's everything, dude. And it sucks that it constantly has to be brought back to race. You know, like this murder wasn't just out of spite. It wasn't just out of race or anything like that. It was legitimately like this man had some deep issues going on, and he really like didn't have somebody to guide him to do better decisions, which it's truly unfortunate.
Yeah, there's and we're never going to know exactly what was going on in the mind of Karmelo. We can only know based on his actions. But based on his actions, We know that he did indeed do something that was life altering for all involved. He did indeed use a weapon on somebody, admitted to it. And so the justifications of to how wasn't measured in court. It did not get presented as though, per the jury, it didn't get presented as though he actually was facing some sort of a reason that would give him the warranted to do what he did. So again, I cannot in all conscience say the murder verdict was off the table. I was surprised by how quickly they reached murder. I was expecting manslaughter, but I'm not surprised that they could get to that point because of how many things transpired in the hearing.
Right.
That it was just too much stacked against him, and he, whether he liked it or not, or we like it or not, he killed somebody. And
Right. You had a lady on earlier, and she was arguing about if you've ever been on like a field or anything like that, like especially like muddy conditions. And I didn't have the opportunity at the time, but I just wanted to like bring up a point of I've played sports my entire life. I've been on muddy fields. Um, Never once have I ever charged a person, especially if you're being on those fields of uh, and lost grip or like been able to slip. Generally, you're wearing cleats or, like a specialized shoe, you know? And I'm not saying that was the reasoning, but it, a lot of the time people get confused and like they make up their own scenarios in their head. And they ignore the facts a lot of the time, which is kind of unfortunate because that's where you see a lot of people collide, especially with the race issue that's currently going on in today's country. It's just if you truly like look at it and ignore the black and white, it is a crime. Like that's all it is. It's a crime that should never have happened, should never have escalated to that situation. But now that it is a young white man and a young black man, it's a completely different story. If it was a white man, or black man, this wouldn't have blown up like it did.
I don't know. I can say that 100%. I think in this climate, any option to point fingers at somebody because of race is on the table anymore. I think the way this happened and how this planned out and what it was shown at in the media is why it blew up. I think it eventually would have become an issue of race because of the opposing races that were involved. I tend to stay away from what caused what because of race when I have obvious things that were at play that didn't have anything to do with race, including the fact that one fought the other in some way, shape, form, or fashion, whether verbally or physically, and the end result was a death. And I'm going
Correct.
based on that and that alone. And on that premise alone, he is guilty of removing someone from this planet by means of using a weapon. The jury decided, based on what they were told, that murder was the one that they would. Now, is it was on the table? It was definitely on the table for murder because he did indeed have the weapon long before any activity took place. So, when I say I'm surprised by the verdict, I'm surprised by the verdict that they came to murder because of how the social standings were, but by the information, murder was on the table. And I'm not saying that I'm surprised they picked murder. I'm surprised that they were even going towards that based on what they knew what could have possibly happened afterwards. That's where my surprise is. I'm surprised they didn't pick manslaughter to mitigate, like sometimes the social things will affect the way juries act, whether they want to admit that or not. And I'm surprised they didn't pick manslaughter to mitigate the fallout from afterwards. So in a lot of ways, I do commend the jurors for standing on business and saying, no, this was definitely murder. And then having the fallout now, as we'll possibly see, will either solidify that thought process or not. And I just don't know yet. So I don't know.
Well, I really appreciate you putting you on your live and giving me the time to speak.
Yeah, no problem.
I greatly appreciate your opinion and whatnot as well.
Thank you.
I'll continue watch and I'll give you a follow, brother, because this was a good talk.
All right, we'll catch up.
Thank you.
All right. Who else? No one's up. Okay. I think the person that was up there dropped out. So yeah, if people wondering whether or not I'm okay with the murder verdict, I am okay with the murder verdict. I'm simply surprised that the jury decided that murder would be the answer based on what they knew would possibly happen after that verdict was given. The surprise wasn't based on the actions. My surprise was based on their actions about picking it, knowing the society that we're in. I really anticipated them picking the lesser of the two, but still giving him time by doing the manslaughter thing. Deserved murder? Yes. I do believe he deserved a murder charge. I just didn't think they would pick it. I just didn't think they would pick it at all. I think we've seen enough cases where there are two different races involved, and the perpetrator, or at least the one accused, is of the black race, that we've seen that the society reacts differently if the outcome brings them as guilty. So that's why I anticipated a different result. But if this stands, if the murder side stands, he's gonna be gone for most of his life. He's gonna be gone for, because that's what do you mean? Why was one of them not white and one of them not black, Josh? Just answer my question: is one not white and one not black? Am I blind, or is you just want to try and act aloof to the actual situation? You're trying to be obtuse. Was one of the people black and one of the people white? Yes or no? That's why I'm calling it what it is, because that's what the situation was. Why do y'all try to pretend to be smart but come across as the slowest individuals on earth? Why do y'all do that, knowing full well you're going to look stupid with the stuff you say? I'm saying black and white because that's what it is. Whether you like it or not, one of the individuals was seen by society as black and another one was seen as white. That's obvious. Y'all are weird, like absolutely mentally weird. Like you make some gymnastical stuff and try to make it act like it's. Why are you being stupid? Y'all are you're just trying to make a mountain out of a molehill. The fact is, society is going to look at this case in a polarized way based on race. I'm not looking at this based on race. Society is. Society is looking at this like one black dude took out a white dude. That's bad. And society is looking at this: one black dude took out a white dude, and that's good. Cool. If I'm part of them, then why are you here? You are actually contributing to the problem by watching my program if you think I'm part of the problem. That makes you slower than me. That makes you more remedial than anything else. If you're watching somebody you consider slow, that makes you slower? Dummy? The hell? Yes, I do believe he's guilty. 100% I believe he's guilty. I'm not negating the fact that he's guilty. I've never said he wasn't guilty. Again, maybe y'all don't know how to listen. I'm saying this. Based on what people know would happen based on certain outcomes, I am surprised that the jury chose murder as their guilty verdict. I am not saying that murder should not have been the outcome. I am saying I'm surprised they picked that, knowing that the fallout would be so consequential. I was thinking they would pick manslaughter to mitigate social outcry. But they didn't, and I commend them for standing on business by picking what they saw as presented in the evidence. The fallout matters because there might be innocent people and their lives ended because of crazy people doing crazy stuff. That's why the fallout matters. If I have to explain to you what the fallout mattering is, then I'm sorry, there's not much help for you. If I have to explain to you the whole issue with Rodney King, then maybe you were not the most logical human being out there. Mr. Denny didn't do nothing to nobody and he got hurt. So again, what did he have to do with Rodney King? That's a fallout issue. Slow one. That's why the fallout matters. Because there's going to be far more crazy issues popping off that should never have happened. And of course, the emotional people are going to act out. That's what I'm saying. Which is why this issue being pushed as a racial thing is a problematic one. If we would just stick with what was presented, focus on the actual tangible things we can see, we wouldn't have this problem of a possible riot. You wouldn't need to riot. What you would do is you'd go home and you'd solve the problem from your home first. Solve the problem from your home first. Teach your kids emotional control. It really is that simple. If you act out a certain way, boom, problems. If we've taught that, we wouldn't have half the issues we have. But we've made everything emotional. I'm black, so I'm emotional. I'm white, so I'm emotional. I'm Asian, so I'm emotional. Stop. You can't control how you're born. You can't. I mean, you can probably bleach, I guess. You could bleach a kid, but that won't make any difference. It won't make any difference. We are here because society has led folks to believe that acting impulsive is the answer, and it's not. It's not. You end multiple lineages that way. And now one's dead and one's about to go to prison for a long time. Hence, his life is not going to be as productive as it could have been. There's no guarantee that his life would have been productive, but it's never going to be productive for sure now. we know that. We know that. All because impulse control was not implemented. That's simple. Whether he saw Austin as white and he hated him, or whether Austin saw Karmelo as black and hated him, we don't even know that that was the case. We have no idea how they saw each other. Okay, so those of you who are in Karmelo's camp, prove to me it was because Karmelo was black that Austin approached him. Prove it. Those of you who sincerely think this is a race issue, prove to me that Austin Metcalf did what he did because Karmelo was black. Prove it. Prove it. That's all I want you to do. And I prove, not state, just prove it. Just prove it. That's all I want you to do. Prove it. Can you do that? And I anticipate that you won't be able to prove it. Because nobody knows. Nobody knows. And until you know, you can't be saying a whole lot to do with race. You can't. So just tell me again, if you look at this as a black and white issue, show me where the black and the white issue showed up in the altercation. That's all I want you to prove to me, that there was a altercation based on race. But they've made it about that post-event. So I want to know where that came in. How do you get to, it wasn't about race, but now it's about race? It's not about race. It's about action. No, it was not self-defense, Woody. I do not believe this was self-defense. I never believed it was self-defense. I always thought that this was indeed a action intentionally taken, because the action of having to reach into a bag to pull it out after telling somebody you would and then plunging it was intentional. So yes, I do believe that murder was definitely the right call for them to make. What I'm saying is society can affect verdicts whether we like it or not. And so I was anticipating society to have an effect on the jury pool, and it didn't, thank goodness, which is why I was anticipating a manslaughter charge, not murder. But they got what they got. They got it right. They got the murder charge, and he's. But I think they're going to appeal it, and the appeal will more than likely bring it down to manslaughter. Shalom Israel, says Uncle Tom. You must be a Hebrew Israelite, huh? Y'all on your Hebrew trip. I'm glad to be an Uncle Tom. Y'all think Uncle Tom's a back? I think y'all keep using these terms like you read. Y'all don't read. It's a sad look. It's a very sad state that you people using that term don't know what a book is. Like it's your kryptonite. Books are your kryptonite. Try reading. It'll help you exponentially if you would but read a book. Try it. You might, no, you won't like it because it would have stuff in there you can't change. Read the book. Uncle Tom is not an insult. Uncle Tom is not an insult. Keep proving that you don't read. Shalom. Thank you for proving the point. Yeah. KK, listen. Why didn't the defense bring that up in court? If you say that there's pictures of them hanging out with the judge, here's my question. Why didn't the defense bring that up? Even if they brought it up in the public eye, why didn't they bring it up? Or the defense was paid. So now everybody, so the defense was paid off. Let me get this right. The defense was paid off, and the prosecution and were friends with the judge, and the family was friends with the judge. So there was no way he was going to get free. Gotcha. All right, cool. All right. That makes all the sense in the world. Sure. Can you prove that the defense was paid off? You have proof to that? Because if it is true, I'll take up the case right now, and I'll make a whole bunch of statements about it. Please prove to me that the defense was paid off to throw the case. I'll wait. In fact, come up and tell me how they did it. Again, just give me the proof. That's all I want. Just come up and show me the proof. I'm happy to listen to the proof. Okay, Petty Betty, I'm not asking for your approval. I don't know what you think your statement was going to make sense. I'm not asking for your approval. Okay, so you know. I didn't say the defense. Do you guys listen? Again, come prove to me that the defense was paid off to throw the case. I want your proof. Y'all are saying that. I think the defense did a poor job of defending the man, but I don't think they got paid to do it. I'm just wondering, where's your proof that they got paid? Just tell me how. Shalom, repeating the same insult doesn't make you look smarter. It helps my case saying that you look slower. I don't know if you understand. Again, I'm sorry. I'm assuming that you can understand English. My apologies. I didn't mean to assume that you were smart. My bad. My blunder. I thought you were smart. My bad.
Hey,
yes, sir.
How you doing?
Good.
I just want to tap in a little bit because I see a little bit on the comments that a lot of people are saying how the defense did a poor job, and I happen to agree. And kind of on my piece, I'm more like a neutral standby. I do think that there was a poor job, but I'm not going to say it was a paid thing. Because when you look at it from the defense perspective, I'm in the field of law, majoring in criminal justice. I want to be an attorney, open my own practice when I get older.
Congrats,
when you look
man.
At it,
Congrats. That's good. Yeah.
And so when you look at it from the defense perspective, I will say it was poor. Because in a jury-based trial, whenever you have a young kid like Karmelo Anthony in a situation like this, the thing that you need to be doing is you need to push more upon the fact that he was intimidated because, I mean, they did a bit of a job with that. But one thing that I saw in the closing argument from the defense side was the idea that he pushed on partial bias. And just bias in general is going to be a big factor, considering the fact most witnesses were teammates of Austin Metcalf. But the biggest issue is that the defense did a poor job about really highlighting this, especially because in a case where Karmelo Anthony was surrounded by nobody he really knew. He was in a tent full of people that he didn't really know, kids from a completely different school. And on top of that, they were telling him over and over, you need to leave, you need to leave. And the defense was poor with that. They'd never really highlighted.
So you think he should have stayed?
No, I'm not saying he's staying, but I'm saying that the defense did a poor job of highlighting the fact that he was being pushed and being almost, I'm not going to say bullied, but I'm going to say that he was being almost, I don't want to put out a bad connotation, but I do say that the defense was kind of poor in that notion.
Okay, so do you think that maybe their influence came from the fact that he came pre-armed?
I will
Whether
say that.
or not the knife was legal to have. Now, we're not disputing the legalities of him having the knife in
course.
Texas. Okay, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the sensibility of taking one to the event and having a confrontation, whether or not you could have avoided it. Do you think that may have played a part in them not trying to bring that up?
I get it. I get what you're saying. And I do think so, especially because everybody's going to ask why have it in the first place. Because, like, I mean, think about, like, any accidental shooting that's happened almost any other team. Why have the gun in the first place? I mean, even with the current case that we had recently with Mr. Chow and the young man that died in North Carolina, they asked him again, why did he have the gun in the first place? That's always going to be that question. So it's more just about, with the defense side, how do you justify that? And the way I look at it when you justify it is that in Texas, especially whenever, unfortunately, there's a stereotype that not every young black man is unfortunately dangerous. There is that stereotype, especially where I'm from in Texas. I'm a part of Texas. That is an unfortunate stereotype. And so what you need to do is sometimes, and which is unfortunate, you do feel the need to defend yourself. And carrying that blade may not have been the best choice, but sometimes you have to. Sometimes
but again, I think what they're looking at is the idea that he intentionally helped to antagonize by saying, I am going to do this if you did something minimal. Like, there wasn't a statement of if you try to jump me. He said touch, and there was no disputing that was the word used. Now, whether or not it was just a touch, that's the one that's up for debate by a few people that testified. But if you're going to be carrying something like that, the last thing I'm thinking I want to do is to give people the idea that I have something to use on you and then use it. Because it comes across as though I intentionally am thinking premeditative.
Like, you touch me, I'm going to hurt you.
I'm going to, yeah. Now, look, fighting, there are adults around. So if a fight broke out, they live. But for you to pull out something that could unalive, whether or not your plan was to, you had the idea that if somebody touched me, I'm drawing blood. That's kind of a crazy reaction to a statement of touch me.
Yeah, I do agree. There is that logic behind it, just to like make sure like I'm clear, because I don't want to have anything like misconceptualized. I'm looking at this from like if I were in the attorney standpoint, like there could have been improvement upon the defense strategy. But on that topic, just like when you look at it from like an objective perspective, like, hey, like if you touch me, I'm going to hurt you. Like that's even in itself, I will say that from an objective perspective, like even as a young man, I do believe that is kind of crazy to say. I do believe that also does push forward like I feel the need to, like, I almost want you to do it. And especially, like, if you're, like, a young man like that in high school, it's almost like you're goading him. And that is a bit of, I do believe that is where the issue lies, because if you know you are armed, and you are goading a person saying, if you touch me, I'm going to stab you. That is a problem.
And here's the flip side. I disagree with Metcalf watching him with his hand in his bag and still deciding to touch him. That, to me, was dumb. Listen to me, and I'm not saying he deserved to. I know people are going to say, you're saying he deserved to get. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you encounter somebody that's unstable enough to tell you, I have something in my bag I'm willing to use, if you touch me, I'm not touching you. Yeah, I'm going to go call the cops and let them pop you for having your hand in your bag. I'm going to let them do it. I'm going to live.
I agree with that.
I'm going to live. But the fact that you took it out, plunged it in, and then decided to try to throw it, I can't give you self-defense no more. I would have sat down. I'd have thrown the knife, but I'd have sat down. It's like, I don't know but you ran. It tells me something in your mind. is already on the idea that I did something acutely wrong based on what the reaction was. And so when the jury is hearing that this person brought this, acted with it, and then tried to discard it, it's giving the idea that you had an idea that it was illegal, that you did something egregiously wrong compared to what was done to you. And
Yeah,
so I think that's what they were basing their verdict on. Again, I do believe it was murder. However, I thought that based on societal outbreaks that could happen, they would have said, we're going to do manslaughter. That way we win part and we lose part, but we don't lose the whole society by saying murder. I'm surprised they kept on it. That's all.
Yeah, I agree. I do believe that. Well, in my personal opinion, like looking at the facts, because again, I will take my time to go read through the transcript.
Yeah, please do.
They were very close. They were very close off about how they conducted the trial. I will say that I do want to go back and look at that transcript because the attorney in me is thinking like, sorry, I'm on campus, but like parts of me think about, and the attorney in me is thinking, what could have possibly changed for it to just like, even like from the defense standpoint, for it to really get that guilty verdict of murder. But when I look at it objectively, like as a person taking outside of my my attorney's shoes, I see this. I see a young man going up saying, you need to leave our tent. Afterwards, the intimidation factor, it can become a bit of a problem, and I do see that, and I agree. But what it all boils down to is that, one, if you are Austin Metcalf, a man is telling you, I have something in my bag, and you touch me, you're going to find out what it is. At that point in time, there should be no reason you continue to push, whether that be an empty threat, whether that just be a real threat. Anybody that threatens you in that manner, that should be an immediate sign to say no. Whether it was okay or like it's not. I feel like just in general, what most people, because it's becoming, and just in general, you see in the chats and people that talk about it, it's becoming this divide of race. When in reality, it is not. Mm-hmm. They're bringing it up they're talking up to, oh, a black kid can't even sit under a tent. A white kid thinks he can just push another kid out. I'm mixed. I've seen it both. I've been in both areas of life where I've been called a slur, and of both sides of myself. So I understand both sides of the coin. But what it boils down to, and what it needs to boil down to, is an objectively. If someone is threatening you, is threatening your safety, that is not okay. Mm-hmm. If you believe it is okay to threaten someone's safety when you know what you have in your bag, instead of saying, hey, listen, please stop touching me, I will move. Could it have been handled better? Sure. I mean, it's a young man. There's going to be things that happen inside your head. Whatever. It's what happens. But it's not whatever in this case, unfortunately, because you knew you were armed. You knew you could cause fatal and bodily harm to a kid. And you said, you touch me again, you're going to get it. And then that's where that line was completely crossed. Yeah. That's right there is where it was crossed. And that's what needs to be talked about rather than this divide and the verdict and everything else that happened in that courtroom. That is what a society we need to focus on. Right. When is it ever okay to know what you have in your bag and threaten somebody's safety? That's not okay. Yeah. And I keep seeing this narrative, M. James, there was no surrounding of anybody. Again, y'all keep listening to people say what they think they saw. And if you would just go watch the transcripts of what was said in court, which is all you should be going by, not by hearsay, you would find a whole different story being told. Again, if you are under oath and lie, the appeal will get all that out. If, however, you're under oath and lie and you cause the guilty verdict, that's on you. Suppose you say, okay, no, he was surrounded and I saw him get punched, and then they showed the footage and you weren't even close to it. What do you want people to do about that? That's part of what actually happened in the court. People said they saw something and they did not see anything, and the footage said they didn't see anything. So again, how are you going to get past that aspect of things? That's the problem, is that we want to try and put our own bias on it. I'm not trying to put a bias on it. I'm telling you that somebody is gone from this earth physically, and there's one person that caused it. How they caused it and why has been proven to the jury, who is the only people they had to prove it to, not to us. I agree.
And the jury said guilty. Now, if the defense wants to say, nope, you can appeal. And on appeal, you can bring up all your grievances of what you thought went wrong. That's the purpose of an appeal. And they have the legal right to do so and the time to do so. Yes. I don't know what y'all want me to do. I'm not the one that came up with the verdict. Mm-hmm. I have my opinion about the verdict, but that doesn't affect the verdict at all. Nor does your rioting affect the verdict. So be stupid and go riot. Have at it. Burn as much stuff as you want down. Do anything and harm your own community because you're slow. If that's what you feel like doing, go ahead. But if the cops show up and think you are a problem and you get then don't get mad that you Super Mario out of here and go doom 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 and you go away. That's not our fault. That'll be on you.
Yes.
I mean, that's one way to make the news, I guess, if you want to do that, but I wouldn't do it. Anyway, let me bring somebody else up. Thanks for your input, man.
Of course. No problem. You have a good one.
Let me see who else is up here. I saw one, they probably dropped. Yes, they did. I will say again for the umpteenth time, guilty. Yes, I agree. 100% guilty. He did indeed end somebody's life. 100%. Not negating that at all. I am simply surprised that the jury had the nuts to go through with it. That's all my surprise is from. It was not self-defense. No, I do not believe it was self-defense. I have never said it was self-defense. Not one time. Not one time. I think cameras should have been allowed in the courtroom, yes, but even with cameras allowed in the courtroom, that would not have affected the jury. Hear me out. What is the difference between public opinion and what the jury decides? What can you do outside of riot and protest that could affect the outcome, if not from pressure, right? So you're telling me then that the jury has to be afraid of blowback based on what they see? Is that how we're judging court cases now? Based on public opinion? If the evidence points you to something that is socially unacceptable, you want the jury to change their verdict based on what you feel. I don't think that's right. So should there have been cameras in this? Yeah, maybe yes. So we can see what the jury saw and not get it secondhand. That's the only advantage. But again, it is the jury that's making the decision, not us. We can agree or disagree, but the jury made the decision. I'm saying that my opinion is that he did indeed act maliciously by making sure he had a weapon and being in that place by not leaving and threatening to use a weapon, knowing he had one, on somebody that did not have one. And I think murder was the only option they really had, in my opinion. My opinion. I am not the jury. However, if they came with manslaughter, I would not have been surprised either. And even if they came with manslaughter, you would have seen people still mad at that too, because they wanted him to be freed. You would have never gotten a free. There would never been that, because you could not prove self-defense worthy of a knife. I'm sorry, you can't. There's no planet that you can show me self-defense worthy of using the knife in the way they said it broke down. It's impossible. There's nothing you can show me that can prove me that. Nothing. Not a single thing. On no planet can you prove that. He has not been sentenced yet. That's still to come. They only gave the verdict. They have not issued a sentence. Don't tell me to stop, heifer. If you don't want to be here, don't be here, Miss Prep Pep. If you don't like what I'm saying, then leave. Go eat a pie, some Popeye's biscuits or something. Go do something with yourself. But you don't tell me to stop. I do what I want, say what I want, when I want. This is my opinion. You have a platform. Go do your own thing. Fill up the whole screen with your size and tell people what you feel. I'm telling people what I feel. Chunky monkey, go do what you got to do. I don't care. Like, y'all are wild. You come to somebody else's life and try to tell them how they should run their life by agreeing with you when they don't. What's wrong with you? Y'all are wild. Absolutely wild. No, I will speak the way I want to speak on what I want to speak about with my own point of view, and none of you are going to change my mind about it. Karmelo got what Karmelo deserved, which was what? Guilty. He is indeed guilty of taking the life of Austin Metcalf. Point blank, period. That's what happened. That's what happened. He did take his life. And he used a weapon to do so. I don't know how you can not see that. No one else there had a weapon. There is no proof of him being ganged up on and beaten. That didn't happen. And just because you make stuff up doesn't mean it happened. There was no self-defense here. And if the murder sticks, he will be getting more than 20 years for sure. They might give him life. I don't know. They might give him life. But in the real reality is this: two people lost their lives today. The verdict showed that two people lost their life. One last year and one with this verdict. And it all happened because neither one of them could control emotions. Neither one could control their emotions. Based on the article I found, this is what I'm going to read this here. So, under murder guilty verdict, Anthony faces a range of 5 to 99 years in prison. The manslaughter conviction would have carried a sentence of 2 to 20 years in prison. Prosecutors called 21 witnesses, so he's still not out of the woods. He could give him 5. I highly doubt they'll do that. And that's why I say I don't think that the manslaughter thing will stand up. They have the right to appeal, but the most they'll get is manslaughter. He won't get anything less than that. But that's what he's facing. The trial began in June. Let me see if there's a statement of when the sentencing will start. They didn't say anything about when the sentencing will be. But I anticipate it being in a couple of months. At the latest, a couple of months. It might even be as soon as next month. I don't know. It might be as soon as next month. And I think that's the biggest issue here. People are wanting to know what exactly time he's going to get. I do not anticipate the defense leaving it at manslaughter, at murder. I anticipate the defense going again to try and get it reduced to manslaughter. Whether it happens, I don't know. But I think more than likely, if all things considered, I don't think they're going to get it overturned. I don't think they're going to get it overturned, man. I think they kind of stuck on this one. I think they kind of stuck on this one. Considering how quickly the jury came back, if there was some longer deliberation, I could see why manslaughter might stand. But man, I don't know. Is sentencing happening now? Let me go check. See what the. Let me just check here. Let me check the news real quick. That's what I'm going to check is the news. And when I mean by news, I don't mean Fox. I mean somebody that's doing a live coverage of it. If I can find live coverage of it, I'll be happy. Nope, no one's doing anything live right now. Let me see here. Karmelo, Anthony, sentencing. Let's see if they have it up. Now, so far, I haven't seen anything about the starting. They're saying, right, there are some people saying that sentencing is underway. What I'm looking for is a non-commentary feed in terms of people giving opinion. I'm trying to see if they just report what's going on in the courtroom. If I can find that, I'll put that one up on the screen so we can watch it. I don't see. This is live. Hold on.
Bars. Stick with us on Fox 4 News as we get more from our team coverage in just a moment.
Nope, I don't see it.
Before we go to break, we are taking another live look outside. It is hot and sunny out.
I'll keep looking though. I'll keep looking. I don't see anything about whether or not I've seen reports that they're doing the sentencing, but I haven't heard anything back about whether or not it's actually done. So we'll see. We shall see. Look, and unfortunately, Timbo, yes, he is a marked man, and that's the sad part about it, is people are going to go after him, whether or not it's because he's black or not. They're going to go after him because of him taking somebody's life. And I say to those people, leave the man alone. Don't do that. If we are logical human beings and we put all the stupid emotionality aside, if we stop being betas like, Street King here, if we stop being trying to act masculine like Miss Pep, if we stop being like those individuals, we can think. If you have a problem with the outcome, do not act silly. If he had gotten free, the reasons that you might think he got free, please do not go and act stupid on people. That's what the courts were for. There's no reason for us to take the law into our own hands like that. That only messes your life up. You're no better than him at that point. No better. And if you are complaining about that behavior, then maybe you shouldn't be that way too. If you really believe it. What's my race? The only people that do that are the people from your race. What is my race? What's my race? Tell me what my race is. Go ahead. What's my race? Thank you, Jimmy. Like, I don't see what my race has anything to do with other people. I don't act like an idiot, so I don't know what you're talking about. So because I'm black, I should identify with other people that look like me? Y'all are crazy for that. I don't identify with people like Street King. I do not identify with the remedial. I don't. I'm not slow like Street King and Pep Pep. I'm not that. I use logic. I don't kowtow to emotionality. So I will never be identified, nor will I ever, 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 ever act like those people. And my skin doesn't make me act a certain way. Now, if that's how you feel, then that's a you problem, not a me problem. That's a you problem. That sounds like you got problems. If you think that somehow all black people are supposed to think alike, that sounds like you might be a racist. If you think all white people are supposed to think alike, it sounds like a you problem. You might be a racist. You might be. You might. Again, you might. I would suggest this. Maybe judge what's happening as opposed to the who. Yeah, just judge the topic. That'd be amazing if y'all can do that. That'd be epic. I agree it was a parenting problem. I fully agree. Fully agree on that. I don't see, okay, if it stays murder, I don't know that they might give the life, man. They might not give life. They might give 30. I could see 30. Here's my prediction. And I'll give two predictions. If guilty and it stays guilty even after appeals of murder, most they're going to give him is 30. If they reduce it to manslaughter after the appeal, the most he'll get is 15. That's what I believe will happen. And I think that will happen because they don't want to cause undue issues in society. That's the only reason I think they'll do it. If the defense appeals and gets manslaughter, 15. If murder stands, 30 at the most. 30 at the most. I do agree with the verdict, yes. I Love Batman came up and dropped. I was just about to bring you up, but okay. 5 years house arrest? Nah, I don't see that one at all. At all. That will never happen. They will never do that. 5 years house arrest? That would be insane. Insane if they did that one. Because I don't even think that's on the table. Who brings a knife to a track meet? Karmelo. That's who does it. We know that for a fact. Karmelo did. That's who did it. Yes, the verdict was guilty. Yes. Let me see. Because they're black, we have to be careful so they don't riot. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying people say that. Is it? It must be a language barrier. It must be English as a second language for some people. I said that people will view it that way. I never said I did. And you denying that people do that? Are you denying the fact that people will react and act stupid because of a verdict? Yes or no? Will they? Do they? Yes or no? Okay, so if you know that they will because they're not thinking, you want me to negate the fact that they'll do it? There are innocent people that will get harmed for doing absolutely nothing to do with this case. They don't even care about the case. They might just be walking by and someone decides to start a riot and they get harmed. And I'm supposed to be okay with that? No. But I understand that stupid people do stupid stuff. And I do understand that people not wanting people to do stupid stuff will make a decision to try and mitigate that. Even juries. Right, wrong, or indifferent, they will do it. And it may not even help. Look, they could do tomorrow, they can come back and say, we got it wrong, he's free. There'll still be riots. They can't win with this. They can't win with this. There'll be people who riot if he gets free. There'll be people who riot if he gets manslaughter. There'll be people who riot if he gets murder. That's. I'm not saying we have to lower this. Again, Hans, listen. I am not saying that we have to. I'm saying that it does happen. I'm a realist. It's what happens. I don't like that it happens. It ought not to happen, but it happens. Are you going to tell me it doesn't happen? Whether it should or shouldn't, it does happen. We are not rioting in defense of a murder. People riot. Don't put me with, I'm not, there's no we here. They. People, some people do, they don't know we. Don't do we. I ain't grouping myself with them. We. Unless you got mice in your pocket or you're pregnant, I don't know where you're getting this we from. We. Ain't no we here. Clowns will riot, not me. Clowns. All you will say is Hunter is rumored to be a bully for a long time towards other people. Where's your proof of this rumor? A rumor gets people put in jail for wrong reasons all the time. So you okay to trust a rumor? Or because the rumor fits your narrative, you like the rumor? You hear that rumor and you like it because it fits your view of them, right? But you have no proof that that happened? I go based on proof. That's what I'm going based on, proof. That's all, proof. Hey, look, I know that they better not riot in Texas. That's all I know. I don't know that they won't, but they better not. It's not like other places. Don't do that. They're not afraid to use force. I'm just letting you. They're not opposed to force at all. You're not going to get the we shouldn't have done it. They'll do it. Texas is different. Agreed, Sheila. It is bad for both sides of the families. All four in the family. Yes, I do think he was guilty, Austin. Yes. Where is your proof that Karmelo unalived the dude? Karmelo told us that he did. I don't know what you want. That's a good one. Where's your proof that Carmelo did it? Carmelo said he did it. What do you want me to do about what he said? He said it, not me. So now, let me get this right. You don't think he did it? Did Austin do it himself? No, I really need to know that. I really need to know. Did Austin do it himself? Yes or no? He did get a fair trial. What was unfair about the trial? What was unfair about the trial? Okay, so what was unfair about the trial, PS? What was unfair? Come up and talk to me. What was unfair about the trial? Austin he impaled himself. So he took the knife and impaled, or he saw it out and did. How would you do it? And it was not an all-white jury, by the way. No, there were minorities on the jury, just not black. Shay, I don't know that they'll allow the sudden passion thing. Otherwise, they would have allowed for that in a manslaughter thing. I think they're gonna go. They went straight to murder for a reason. But I think if they were to bring that, it'll be in appeals. Young Octobers, I hear you, but I'm asking, and I ask this again: why didn't the defense bring that up during the trial? If you knew that, how did they not present that as a problem? Because they have the right to bring that up and say, "Hey, there's a conflict of interest here. We need to have a different judge." They could have done that, right? That's a defendant's, right to bring it. If they knew that, which I'm sure they would. If you knew it, then they did. Why didn't they bring that up? Okay, so P.S. the judge and why didn't the defense bring that up? Is my question. If that's what you say, why didn't the defense bring up this friendship between the judge and the prosecutor? His attorney was terrible. Okay, cool. So why are you blaming white people when it's not the jury's fault? Then blame the defense, right? Blame his team. So do you blame the defense? You can't blame nobody but the defense, right? Secondarily, they had money to hire a defense attorney that would bring that up. They didn't do that. They had the money to do it too. Or you don't believe white people? Okay, cool. Then what's the point of having this conversation? Then you should be. So are you surprised by the outcome? If you don't believe white people, then you shouldn't be surprised by the outcome, right? And if you're not surprised by the outcome, where's your problem with it? I see Shalom is back again. Welcome back, Shalom. Here's what I would suggest to you, Shalom. The beard game is on point. I see it. Good Suge Knight look. However, I wouldn't follow everything by Suge Knight by having also his body mass index as your friend. I wouldn't do that. I would try and cut down on some of that, work out a little bit, eat differently. Quite possibly start to read. That'd be also really good. That might actually help the fat up here to go away. Exercise all parts of the body, mind, soul, and body. Just trying to help you out. Because remember, y'all Hebrew Israelites are supposed to be fighting a whole bunch of people here soon. So I've seen you all try out, and I've seen you work out. It's rough. I've seen you guys try to do push-ups, and wow, y'all need help, y'all. Man, what? Help me. y'all need mad help. The appeal can happen anytime after this is done. So if they do now and they say this is what the end result is, then by the time this is all done, they can start the process for the appeals. When it's going to be seen, I don't know yet, but they can start as soon as this is over. So if they're doing the sentencing now, then they have, after this is done, to submit their appeal, and they'll stave off the sentencing application until the appeal is either approved and seen through or not approved. That's what's going to happen. And I do listen, for the sake of the defense doing their job, I do hope that they appeal. I do. Why do I wish that they appeal? Because it is their job on behalf of their client. So I hope they appeal. But again, the information should be the one that dictates whether the appeal is going through or even seen, not race. Yes, I do, Sawyer. I agree with the verdict. I'm being biased. Oh, I didn't know that. How am I being biased, Saul? So you tell me that then black people would have found him not guilty? Huh, Mary? Marcia Vigo. Are you telling me that if they had black people on the jury, they would have found him not guilty? Is that what you're saying? This ought to be fun. Please tell me if you believe. No. You're the one that says there were no black people. So what does it matter if there are black people or not? There has to be a reason you're mentioning that there were no black people on the jury. So do you think that if there were black people on the jury, they would not have found him guilty? Yes or no? I think that's a pretty simple question. Okay, so then you want biased people on the jury. Okay, I get you. You want biased people. What was your question? Ask again. There's a lot of chats going. What's your question? What's your question, Mary? Tell me. Ask it again. I'll look in the chat right now just for you. Being black is being biased. You said so, not me. You are the one that have a problem with no black people being on the jury. I don't have a problem with black people not being on the jury because I don't think race matters on the jury. You said it does. I'm asking you, why does it matter that black people are not on the jury? And I do that by asking you, do you think that they'd give a different verdict? Yes or no? Would black people on the jury give a different verdict than white people? Yes or no? Come on, Mary. Yes or no? Mary, tell me, Mary. Would they? I'm watching. I haven't seen your response yet. And again, would black people on the jury give a different verdict, yes or no? Yes or no? I'm going to try and scroll as slowly as I can to see if I see it, because there's a lot coming through. That's my point, Courtney. If it didn't change the outcome, no one would care, but they do care, so it must have changed the outcome. Mary. How about you just come up and tell me, Mary? Just come on up and tell me. Because I was of the thought process that the whole purpose of a jury, it's just again, just answer the question, yes or no. How would we know? So why would you need, if you said how would you know, why would you need black people on the panel? Why would you need them there? Why would it be necessary for them to be there? Now remember, they did have a few that said they couldn't do it because they would not be able to put him in prison regardless of the information. That was said. So I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's non-biased. I didn't see your question, Honeybee. Ask the question again. Honeybee asked the question again. I did not see. But black people are not on the panel. I get that. So again, you're a young African American man. What does that have to do with anything? Again, does your race matter in the light of information? Yes or no? And would you put your race and the person's race above the information you're hearing? And if you do that, then you don't need to be on the jury. This is not difficult. This isn't rocket science. If you are part of the jury and you put race as an option for deciding, you are not worthy of being a juror. You don't need to be a juror. You need to not be on there. You need to definitely not be on the jury. Texas is a racist state. Okay, cool. Prove that. Prove that. Texas is a racist state, somebody said. Prove that. So that's your proof because you said it? That's good. That's really good. Hey, look, I commend you for being honest. I commend you. I commend you, man. You say Texas is a racist state. I said, prove it. You said, because I said so. At least you stand on business. That's good stuff. Because I said so. All right. Oh, wild. Honeybee, there are 700 people in the room. You only have 98 followers, so I can't invite you up. But I cannot see your question popping up on the screen. And I've scrolled back, but I cannot see your question. I am trying to answer your question, but I cannot see your question. The chat is moving very, very quickly. I'm sorry that I did not answer your question. I'm sorry you feel overlooked, but there's 700 people in the room and your chat is moving very, very quickly, so I did not see your question. I know you've asked several times, and I'm telling you the reason I have not seen it. I don't know what else to tell you. So please tell me again, one last time. I'm going to keep an eye out and scroll as best as I can to find it. I'm going to try. I promise I'm going to try, and I'm looking for it right now. Okay? You see me looking at the screen. I'm looking. I'm not going to ignore her. I want her question answered. I'm not going to be like that. If I have the option to answer her question, I'm going to do so. So go ahead and ask it one more time. I'm trying a new tactic now, a new technique. Let me see here. A new technique. I'll scroll up a little bit and then scroll down. So that way I catch them as they come in live. Let's see. Quickly ask it one more time. Honey. Okay. You told me everything I needed you know. Okay, cool. I don't, is that what, so you don't have a question anymore? So you got your answer is what you're saying? Okay, cool. I'm just saying that what he got, he deserved. He was verdict, it was murder, he did murder. Guilty, he was guilty. I'm just telling you that the defense now is going to do a definite 100% appeal. And the reality is he might get it reduced to manslaughter. I don't know, but I think he might. I think with this verdict, They're going to eventually watch and say, you know what? The outcome in the society is pressing on us to change our mind. The new panel. So look out for that to be the case, that they might change the verdict because they don't want problems with people. Right or wrong, that's what they're going to do. I agree, Ash. It is definitely a right or wrong issue, guilty or not guilty. Would manslaughter be a better outcome? It depends on who you ask. I don't think it's a better or worse outcome. I think it is a fair outcome would be what he got. That's the fair outcome. Based on what was said and presented, the verdict is right. That's what I'm saying. Now, what they decide past that as a sentencing, I don't know. But I think he is definitely guilty of murder. Yeah. Yeah, he is guilty of it. He did indeed kill somebody. I don't know how else you're going to put this one. He took that dude's life. You know, I don't anticipate anything more than 30 years overall. I don't think it'll be more than 30 years. No, I don't think he would have. If he was over 18, he wouldn't be there. And if he wasn't supposed to be there at 18, then he would have gotten the death penalty. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Or you want to know what I was? See, now I'm seeing your question to Mr. Lee. You want to know if I am Black American? I'm an American that happens to be of a darker tone. Does that answer your question? I don't identify as African American. I'm an American, and I happen to have a dark tone. That answer your question? I identify as an American first. I have a dark tone. Oh, I know Texas isn't racist. That was a question of someone saying it, not me. Now, if you don't like that answer and you think I'm something else, and you can think that. You asked me what I am, and I told you what I am. I am an American of a darker tone. I know many Americans of different tones. And I have 5 children of different tones themselves, and they're all American, so they're American of darker tone as well. My wife is an American of darker tone, almost the exact same tone as me, actually. So we have kids that, look like us. And I teach them one very important thing. They can't change what they are. I mean, they could Michael Jackson their way out and get lumbago or something. I mean, vitiligo. But, I mean, if they wanted to, but I'm just saying. You forget I like wordplay. That's not a wordplay. That's what I believe. I'm of a darker tone, and I'm American. So wait, I give you my answer, and my answer. You see, this is the problem. You get the answer that is my answer. You don't get to decide my answer. But my answer isn't enough for you. Now it's wordplay. Then don't ask the damn question. If you don't like my answer, don't ask the damn question. I'm giving you my answer. If it's not enough for you, that's a you problem. The hell is wrong with you people? Y'all are just the stupidest of the stupid of the stupid. You asked me a question, I gave it to you. That's not enough. Well, I figure you like wordplay. Okay, I'm black. That better? That fits your tone out? I'm black. You happy now? I'm black. I know I'm not mad. I'm being sarcastic, dummy. Golly. Saucy's taking a while to connect. When you figure out your internet, let me know. Y'all are wild. You need to say this kind of black. Now you need to say this answer because that's what I think you are. Wordplay if you don't answer it the way I want. It's wordplay. He's guilty. That's my take. He's guilty. He is guilty, guilty, guilty. Based on the information they gave him, guilty. Let's see here. Who's wanting to pop up? I got like maybe 20 more minutes. Let's go with Wyatt. And then if Brain Bucket stays up, we'll bring him up after. Yes, sir, Wyatt.
What's up? How are you doing?
I'm grand. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well.
What's your take?
I honestly agree completely with the verdict of guilty, and I think it should be first-degree murder for the premeditation killing of Austin Metcalf.
Gotcha. Do you think that'll actually be what they give?
No, I really hope that's what they give.
But do you think that's what they will?
That's what.
Based on what you know about society and
so.
the system, do you think that's what they'll actually give him?
If you put it that way, I don't think that's what they'll give him, which is sad.
Too. Yeah, that's me too. I'm a realist, and I realize that there are many other factors outside of the court case that decides the outcome of things, and I don't.
Yeah.
I think too many outside factors are going to affect the outcome. So, as much as he might be guilty, I think society's going to kind of mess with the outcome of this one. Yeah. Well, I don't think he's going to get life, Freckles. I don't think he's going to get life. That's definitely not something I think they'll give him. The same way the death penalty is off the table, I think, conversely, the whole life idea is also probably going to be off the table. I don't think they're going to do it. I don't think they'll do that. Like I said, 30. If they gave him more than 30 years, I'll be surprised. If they gave him more than 30, I'd be surprised. But again, I was surprised by the murder verdict too. So 50 is a little high, but I can see it.
What did you think it was going to be?
Manslaughter. Yeah, I thought I thought social stuff would have caused a different outcome to try and mitigate, fallout. So I thought they would have given him manslaughter. So, not because of guilt or innocence. I thought they were going to give him manslaughter to try and make sure that people don't act stupid. So, which is why I was surprised that they did the murder one, because they're not worried about that apparently. So, we'll see how that turns out. But
yeah, I don't know how it's gonna work.
Well, thank you, boss. Let me bring this. Is he still on? Let me see.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
No problem. Brain Bucket. Let's bring up Brain Bucket. If Brain Bucket will actually be. Oh, there you go. Okay, so Brain Bucket. What's your thoughts?
Yeah. So I have a few thoughts. So I've seen a few different opinions lately from specifically people in the Black community, because they'd be the ones, talking about it probably the most, in my opinion. I have, a lot of personal convictions, but in my own opinion, I do think he is a murderer, and I do think he should go to jail. I've heard everything from, he had a knife because we need to go into why he had a knife, because he clearly didn't feel safe in that area. But I'm like, it still wouldn't make sense to bring a knife onto school property. Like, most people would know it's not a good idea to bring any weapons on the school grounds, especially for something like that. Like, it's, I think it was a track meet, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that makes no sense. And I've heard a lot of people trying to defend him and saying that it's, sad he's going to jail, but I personally can't see any reason why you should be sad for him going to jail. He did commit a crime. And, I've heard people saying, it's not fair because there was an entire white jury. But I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, so if you didn't have an entire white jury, let's say you had a 50-50. So it's like a half black jury, half white jury, right?
Mm-hmm.
As we've seen from the people outside the courthouse, on people online, I think it would be very biased to have black jurors. Now, obviously, you have to pick your jurors correctly if you don't want it to be entirely biased, but you know, that was the problem I saw with it, and the problem, and that's the reason I was totally fine with them having an entirely white jury. You know, as a young black person in the U.S., I personally can't see anything remotely racist about this trial.
I agree.
You know,
I agree. Fully agree with you on that one. I don't see it either. And if they can see it, I want to proof that it all happened because one was white and one was black, and no one can show that to me yet.
yeah.
So
And I'm like, I'm honestly trying to find a good like defense for Anthony, and I really can't because you know his family put up a GoFundMe, right? When he got put in custody, or when the trial originally, not when the trial, when he was originally in court,
right.
took that money, bought a house. This is proven.
It was
And
misappropriation.
then
It was a blatant misappropriation. He could have done better with it, no doubt. Which is why I
yeah,
don't think
but
he
I
was.
still I think it's crazy, honestly. Like if you're trying to put out like the best case scenario for your son, right? Even if deep down you believe that he's innocent, even if you know they're calling him a murderer and all this, you think deep down he's innocent, right? Why use that money for that? You know, the optics.
It's optics.
Like a common sense would say the optics of that is not good at all. Like just period.
I agree. What's that? Well, thanks, bud. Let me bring up somebody else here.
Yeah, thank you.
Input. Eugene. No, you know what? Let's go with YB. Let's go with YB. YB, give me your point of view.
You can hear me? You can hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, but I don't think he was guilty. I think it was self-defense. But you know how Texas is. You know, it's a lot of white people.
And here's the thing. I don't know how Texas is. So tell me how exactly you came to the conclusion that it was white people that came to this conclusion, and it didn't. None of the factors played in.
Okay, but I see it's 800 people in here. I might go off topic a little bit when I explain this, but I wanted to say something else that relates to this topic. And this goes to all the black people that are listening to this. Y'all have seen what white people have done. Y'all know what we have gone through. Y'all seen that they're hanging black people from trees.
All right,
Y'all seen that our black women are being missing. Let's kill.
We're not doing all that nonsensical diatribing and highfalutin nonsensical stupidity. We ain't doing all that, bro. Let's go with Christine. So pristine. We ain't doing the silly stuff, bro. If you're gonna talk about the context, talk about the context, and talk about the topic. We ain't got time to talk about your so-called version of history that you never been through, and nothing happened to you except by other Negroes. Stop your cap. Stop the cap. Anyhow, back to the topic. Yes, ma'am. Welcome up. Give me your viewpoint on the trial.
Hey, so I personally thought it was self-defense in this situation, especially because I know that there was a young man. He spoke about the video that he saw. I'm not sure if you had saw that video, but he was talking about how
that was an untrue video because he said that you could see raindrops and the video was taken from too far away for him to see anything, including everyone in the jury and the prosecution and defense said that it was too grainy to make out a whole lot except for what bodies were where. They couldn't make out what was actually happening except that the commotion of bodies moving, they can tell that. But all of his accounts saying that he saw people surrounded, that none of that happened. So no, I can't buy that.
The reason I had said that is because there was it's a man here on TikTok. He had spoke with him.
I've seen it.
And he had I had requested the video, and he said the video was 11 minutes long. And he said that it was different angles of that video, so that's why I believed it. You know, I tried to take everything with a grain of salt, but once I seen that he had,
did you see the video?
Emails, no, I didn't see the video. I saw the emails that when he requested the video.
Oh, so you believe it based on someone else's seeing of the video?
Yes, because he provided screenshots of the
what?
emails
Of the video?
No. He had a screenshot where he requested to see the video, and the video was 11 minutes long.
Right, but I'm saying, did you see the video to prove that what he saw was true? Yes or no?
I didn't see it, but I believe it.
Okay.
I don't think I need to see it because.
Okay, just making sure that I want to make sure I get that grounding about your viewpoint before I moved any further forward. But go ahead.
Correct. So this is no one has the full picture of anything.
Mm-hmm.
Based on, like I said, what I saw with the man that had spoke with him. He had provided emails, screenshots where he requested to see the video from the police,
Mm-hmm.
and it was 11-minute video that was long. But in the court system, they said it was only like a few seconds long, but yet he received a video that was 11 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
So that made me wonder, okay, well, how come in the court they're saying it was only a few seconds, but he's saying that the email that he received, it was 11 minutes.
Mm-hmm. So can I ask a question then?
Mm-hmm.
Whose fault is it that the 11-minute video wasn't played in court?
That's the good question. That's what everybody's trying to figure out. That's what I wondered about his Karmelo's attorney. I was like, if all this information is out there, why is this not being presented?
Okay, so it was the defense's fault then?
I believe so, correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Not white people, just the defense? Or white people and the defense?
I mean, I'm not going to say it's white people. I'm just going to say it's the defense because if that's the person that you're representing, that's your client, then you should be trying to, during the discovery, you should have all of this information readily available.
Right, I agree. Now, do you think that's illegal for them to not have the 11-minute video played? It is. It is.
I don't know.
It is.
Okay,
100%. It is
Okay.
100% illegal for
I'm
them
not
to
too-
withhold information that the prosecution would have that the defense doesn't have. They are not supposed to, by law, to do that because both sides are supposed to be accessible to all the information brought to the court case. Now, if that is indeed the case, that there's an 11-minute video out there that shows that he was bullied, then definitely when they do the appeal, since they're the ones going to be bringing the appeal, that 11-minute video will have to be shown and it will be overturned. Now, again, if they don't possess such a video and it is a lie, then I have to accuse the individual touting that there's an 11-minute video out there of inciting riotous acts for people to act a fool. So now the question remains this. If there isn't a video and people like you or someone say somebody that's not logical like you believes it and decides to act foolishly based on that unseen information, do you think that if something like a death happens because of that action, the person that touted the 11-minute video should be held responsible?
No.
Why? Because they're lying to people and people act accordingly.
Because the thing about it is, at the end of the day, as a person, you're held liable for your own actions.
Okay,
As you
cool.
can see,
Good.
So for in my case, right? While yes, I agree that it was self-defense for Karmelo, that's my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going around doing those kind of acts. You know, I'm not going around to the courthouse, you know, being loud, being aggressive. That was one of the things that when I was on people, like some of the news outlets, when I were on their live and I was seeing like some of the black people, like just arguing with the white people, I was just like, don't argue with them. Don't give them what they want. And my whole thing with this case has been everybody can have their own opinion, but be fair at the end of the day. Like a lot of people, they use this opportunity to be racist.
Right.
And this is not the situation for that.
So here's my question. During the trial, there was one of the witnesses on behalf of Karmelo that said that he witnessed him being surrounded and being punched, right? When cross-examined, they showed the video of him on the field, not anywhere near the tent, at the time that he said he was in the tent witnessing the pushing and fighting. And he did not turn his gaze towards the tent until after people started dispersing. Do you think then that the jury saw that as a person lying under oath for the hope of trying to get somebody off, and that's why they came to certain conclusions?
That's definitely possible.
So then, if that's the case, do you still think that it was a defense issue or was it an evidence issue?
I've been standing 10 toes that I believe it's an evidence issue.
So whose fault that they didn't present evidence?
Again, that's exactly why I've been saying this entire time. That's why everybody been going off saying that he needs a new attorney, because we're not understanding why the defense attorney isn't presenting all this evidence.
So who hired the attorney?
Exactly, the family.
Okay, so then it's his family's fault, right?
Correct. And that is that again, that's what everybody has been saying. We don't know what the family's doing. And there's been lies, people saying, I don't know where people are getting this information from, saying that they spent their GoFundMe money on houses and cars. I don't know where y'all got that from. Because if you
aside from, forget all that, I'm just wondering why it is that the family couldn't hire somebody that they knew wasn't related to the prosecution or even the judge. Because people said they knew that. So if they knew that, why would they still hire him and keep him after they found out?
That's a good question. When I looked online, because I did my own due diligence, because his current attorney is not a public defender. People keep saying that he's not a public defender.
So then I can't blame white people.
He's a private attorney.
So I can't blame white people. I blame the stupid parents. I blame Karmelo's ridiculous parents. I blame them for not having the brain cells to hire somebody not related to the prosecution. White people didn't make him do that.
Is this what this live is about?
No, I'm asking, is it white people's fault that they hired that idiot to defend him?
Who said that that's white people's fault?
People in the chat. That's why it's just about that.
Oh, okay. No.
So then this is a matter of picking the right people to defend you, and when you don't, then it's on you, right?
Absolutely.
Perfect.
That's exactly what I said. I'm not making this so, like I said, this is not a race thing.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has been confused this entire trial, why this defense attorney has been doing what he's been doing. Where is this evidence at?
Mm-hmm.
And then also to conclude with that, again, the parents, what's going on? Like, because I think he's went to 2 attorneys now. I think this is his 3rd attorney.
Do you leave the option that the evidence just doesn't exist?
No, I believe it does exist. 100%.
Okay, so in other words, the evidence exists to keep him from going to jail. The parents knew that, and they never went to the public of any kind to tell them that my defense lawyer is lying on behalf of the prosecution. That not even the parents did that. And so they let this happen to their son because that's what I'm supposed to believe. They know information that will keep him from going to jail. They have an 11-minute video out there that would keep their son from going to jail for something he didn't do offhandedly, but because lawyer, they didn't bring it to the forefront. I'm supposed to believe that a parent just lets that happen.
So and that's my thing I was going to say. So another account to that everybody has been discussing, I even wondered this my own self when I was learning about the case. Children are always reporting.
Mm-hmm.
You mean to tell me no kids had any footage?
Mm-hmm.
Especially because the police officers, they had confiscated a lot of the children's phones.
Right. Do you know the rules about track meets, about phones and track meets?
What's the rule about phones and track meets?
You know that normally they're not supposed to be on their phone?
Who?
Kids at a track meet, they're not supposed to be on their phones because
is that new? Because
they're supposed to be listening to the coaches.
I ran track in high school. That was never a rule.
Do you know that they're not supposed to be on? Just because you were on your phone doesn't mean you're supposed to be.
What I'm saying is when I was in high school 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. 10 years ago. Okay, you know how long 10 years ago is from now?
That's what I'm saying. If something changed, I was not aware of that because when I was in track, even at different schools, there was never a rule about being on your cell phone.
Okay, so let me ask you this: if there was proof that say they had video recordings, right? Again, this comes back to 2 things. The lawyers and the idiot parents who did not pursue a different lawyer or at least go to the public news to tell them that this lawyer is corrupt. Why didn't they do that?
You said they didn't.
They didn't bring the news to the people that an 11-minute video was out there proving their son was innocent, and they allowed their son to be found guilty of murder because their lawyers did not bring that information. Why would they allow that?
That's a good question. You know, something that I wondered about is, have they been talking to people?
Who?
The parents and the attorney. Because how is it that other people have more information than what they're presenting?
Well, that's because they say they have information. Just like you say you saw an email, don't mean they actually have it. Because you haven't seen the video. You just say it exists and you believe it because you want to believe it.
But do you think that the email was fabricated?
I know you can definitely say there's an 11-minute video out there. I have no doubt they can say that in the email. I'm asking if the video exists.
Like if it was deleted or if it never existed?
No. If the 11-minute video is 11 minutes of the interaction or 11 minutes of the track meet. Okay, so they have an 11-minute video from the very beginning of the track meet. And all you're seeing is kids running blah, 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 for 11 minutes straight. And then 30 seconds is the altercation. Do you think that could possibly be?
It's possible.
Okay, so but you don't know,
or
but you believe it. So I'm asking, why would you believe something you've never seen?
I'd say I don't. The reason I say I believe is because I know how children are, especially because.
Yeah, but this has nothing to do with children. This has to do with the video. I said, why would you believe a video that you haven't seen?
Because if he received a video, right, and I just said that the children there, their phones were confiscated. Like I said earlier in the conversation, I do not believe that there was not one single child that recorded the video.
Right.
And the reason I say that is because it doesn't have to be a meet going on. It doesn't have to be children actively running and someone would just so happen to be recording and then a fight broke out.
Fully agree. But I'm saying you haven't seen it.
Things happen
right
where they know in advance and they start recording before something pops off.
Perfect. But you didn't see it.
No, I did not.
But you believe
I did not see it, but I believe it 100%.
Okay, cool.
I believe it 100%.
That's my statement, is that you believe something you have not seen. The jury saw something and they believe it too. So who should be the one taken more seriously? You who haven't seen it, or the jury who was in front of all the information?
Exactly. The jury, 100%.
So they got it right.
They can only go off of what they were presented.
Right. So they got it right.
Right. So my stamp, that's, again, I never argued that. My whole point of getting up here was to say I still believe that Karmelo, I believe he's innocent, and they just need to, I don't know what's going on with this attorney, because he's been doing and saying all type of foolishness. But they do need to do an appeal, and I think they need to come with a stronger case. Because again, rational thinking, the jury can only go off what they're presented. I never blamed the jury or any of that. The blame has, this entire time, especially what I've seen with other black people, the blame has been on the attorney.
Right.
The defense attorney. It hasn't been on the jury or anything, because again, they can only go off what the defense attorney is telling them. But me, I'm just saying, in my viewpoint, I believe that Karmelo is innocent. I believe that he did commit self-defense, and right now they're currently in deliberation to see if they'll do a sudden passion for him right now.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Well, thank you for the input. I'll keep an eye on and see exactly what they come up with on the appeal.
All right.
All right. Bye. Let's see who else is up. I got time for two more people. At max, two more people. Let's see here. Let's go with. Let's see if there's one in. Okay, we'll go with My Fam, My Life, and then after him, we'll go with the only Miss Morales. Okay, those are the two coming up next. What's up, Fam Life?
What's going on, man?
Give me your input, sir, about the case.
First off, I would go with manslaughter. That would be my verdict, just for the simple fact that you have a knife on a high school campus, and it resulted in something, in a death. I think it should be manslaughter.
Gotcha.
But what I do believe is, I do believe Karmelo was confronted by a high school kid and his brother or whoever else was with him. Some words was probably exchanged. Some things were exchanged. A murder happened. Well, defense, whatever you want to call it.
A killing
I call it
happened, yeah. Somebody died.
Yeah, somebody died.
Yeah.
So I feel like for that right there, murder, a little too much. You know,
did you know that the video that they showed the jury showed that the brother was not anywhere near the other twin at the time of the altercation?
Okay, not near or
in terms
not,
of on the other side of the tent, not even in with saying anything to Karmelo. Did you know that?
From what I'm hearing a lot of different stories.
No, I'm just talking about transcript wise. I'm not talking about from the news, because there is transcripts available that you don't need video for, and they have to transcribe everything down. So whatever was said in court, you can read, right? So I'm going based on that. Did you know that that was the situation, that it was presented to them that his brother was nowhere near the altercation with Karmelo? Kind of puts to rest the whole idea that they were ganging up on him. So that's my point.
Okay, let's say that it wasn't. Let's just say that it was Karmelo and
Austin alone. Yeah.
let's just say there was them 2. Just look at the size difference. And if he's already told you, just don't put your hands on me, and you put your hands on him anyway, you can't get mad at how somebody reacts when they've already told you, don't
Well,
put your hands on me.
he can't be mad
That's
because
why
he's
I go
dead.
back-
But
this is why I go back to manslaughter, because he, from what I'm hearing, he was asked multiple times to leave. He chose not to. He was under a tent that wasn't his team's tent, and he shouldn't have been there.
Right.
So it's like, that's why I'm saying manslaughter, because he totally wasn't innocent of what he did, but murder a little too much.
Okay,
and
so
I don't
under penal codes in Texas, right? The grounds for self-defense is equal or what you call counter force you can use as self-defense. So if whatever was applied to you, you can use lesser or equal to, not excessive above beyond what was applied to you. That is the rationale for self-defense in Texas. That's on their penal code. That's not me making that up. You can look that up. That's part of their code.
I get that.
So
But
the
have you
question
ever
is, the question here is, for self-defense to be self-defense and be okay by law, do you still think that it's self-defense if a push happened, no one's talking about a punch, if a push happened and the subsequent action of that push is a poke from a sharp object?
It can be something as simple as a slap.
Okay, but that's not what happened. I don't want a hypothetical. The situation wasn't a slap and it wasn't a punch. It was a push. My question is, under the penal code for Texas, does a push equal a poke with a sharp object into the heart? Yes or no by penal code? Is that self-defense? Yes or no?
Can I give you my answer and then explain?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, it does not equal the same defense. But when a guy comes over you, he's got what, 5 inches, 60 pounds, or whatever the case may be on you. It's just like somebody coming up and calling you a slur, a word, or whatever it is. If I chose disrespect somebody, I can't get mad at how they respond.
I didn't say you should be mad.
Well, in this defense, he put his hands on him.
Right.
You can't get upset with how he responds. Now, he responded in the exact wrong way and took it way too far. I agree with that. That's why I'm saying manslaughter. You know, I'm not saying he was a murderer. I'm not saying that it was self-defense. I'm not saying he was innocent. I think for the simple fact that the knife was on a high school campus, that's manslaughter there.
No, that would be murder.
No, that's...
Here's the thing. You walk onto campus, right? You walk onto campus with a weapon. Whether allowed or not, it is not illegal for the size of the knife he had to be with him. We're putting that to the side. There's no illegality with the length of the weapon he had or having it. Let's just say that, because we know that's factually, it's not illegal. Okay, I'm not saying that portion is illegal. Logically smart, no. But he had it, and it wasn't illegal for him to have it.
I agree with
But
that.
the mere idea that you've already established that you know you have it, and you're in a place where people don't want you, whether you could be there or not, they're not wanted, and then you tell them that if they do something, you have something in your possession to do something to them, that kind of throws your self-defense idea out the window, because it's not like you can say, I got pushed and I reacted.
Okay,
This was an intentional statement to Austin that I will be doing something to you of mad proportions, because he's not pulling his fist out of the bag, he's pulling something else. Now, that could have ranged from a knife to a gun. Yes, Austin was unsmart to touch him after seeing the man had a bag with his hand in it. I ain't saying that wasn't smart, that was dumb. But the logic that you have to stretch to get self-defense out of a planned activity, if you touch me, doesn't make sense to me.
I never said self-defense. I ain't
You
saying
said you think it was self-defense, did you not?
No, I said manslaughter. I've been saying
No.
manslaughter
Do you think it was self? You came up here saying you believe it's self-defense. That's what you said.
No, I never said.
Chat,
never said
did he say
self-defense. I
that?
said-
Yes or no? Hold on. Don't go any further. I don't want you to say nothing else until they answer. Did he say he believed it was self-defense? Just read the chat, and they were listening. Read the chat and let them tell you what you said. Because if you can't remember, they do. You said it, bro.
I said manslaughter. I never said.
You said
self-defense.
guilty of manslaughter, but you believe he defended himself. That's what you said.
I believe that he got touched. He made a threat to the guy, letting him know don't touch him. And yes, he defended himself. That's why I'm saying.
Is
I
that
don't think he was
self-defense?
looking for for a murder.
Is that self-defense?
For a murder.
Is it self-defense?
Yes, he took it to the extreme.
Is it self-defense? Yes or no?
I never said it's self-defense. No, I don't.
So he
believe it's
defended
self-defense.
himself, but it wasn't self-defense.
I believe it's manslaughter.
Hold on. You believe he defended? Hold on. You believe he Hold on. You believe he defended himself, but it wasn't self-defense.
I believe that if I go out, let's say
Bro, it's a simple question.
Here.
Is it self-defense if you defend yourself?
Yes, to some degree. But when you take it, just like you said, the law of Texas is you meet equal with equal.
I'm going to talk about the law. We're not talking about the law. We're not talking about the law.
You just brought that up.
Listen. If you can't keep track of the conversation, not my fault. You said you think he's guilty of manslaughter. Because listen to what you said. I'm not putting words in your mouth, bro. You can go back after this is done because I'll post it. You said he is guilty of manslaughter because you believe he was defending himself. You said that, not me.
Okay. Well, let me take my word. If I did say that.
Good Lord.
If I did say that. But my statement from when you first put me on was that I believe he's guilty of manslaughter.
Yes, because he defended himself.
Whether I misspoke my words or whatever it is, I think it's manslaughter for the simple fact that a knife was on the school grounds and it led to a murder. I don't think he went there looking to murder this kid. I think that something happened and he took it to the extreme. For that case, I think it's manslaughter.
Do you think that murder has various degrees and premeditated is different than regular murder?
Premeditated is kind of going looking for something to happen.
I don't believe that he was premeditated murder, but I do believe it was murder. Because he did tell him, touch me and see what happens. That's not self-defense anymore.
If somebody walks up on you and you feel they're bigger, they're towering over you.
I leave.
What am I supposed to say?
I'm going to let that leave. I do the smart thing and live. I leave.
Obviously, he didn't leave.
Because he's dumb. He is dumb.
Putting their hand in their bag.
So they're both dumb. They were both dumb for not leaving.
And this is why I'll just leave it here. I didn't want him to get all of this. I believe it's manslaughter. I believe he should do jail time.
I believe they could get manslaughter too. I agree.
Life, but he should do significant jail time.
He will do significant jail time.
And I absolutely hate to see is the race issue that's going on.
It's not about race.
I know it's not about race. But
I agree with you.
About race. And I just wish that we can just come together as a country and just see things as equal and understand that at the end of the day, these are both teenagers and they haven't even started their life yet. Unfortunately for Austin, he lost his life.
Yes. And so did Karmelo.
And Karmelo should do, I want to say life, but I mean.
No, he will lose his life because he's not going to have the life that he's supposed to have outside of doing something stupid. So he will lose his life. He's losing a significant portion of what he considered life.
That is true. Yeah. So that's why I just wanted I love that we're having this conversation, that you're having this conversation, so thanks for bringing me in.
No problem, man. All right.
God bless, bro.
Now listen here, before I bring the last person up. I may not remember a whole lot of things because I do have some, damage. But usually the first statement you make, I take into consideration because I am listening. And so if you come up stating something and then you backpedal or change it, and then they say you didn't say it, I can't go with that. I have to figure that out before we go any further forward, okay? So if you're coming up and then you're the last person, just know that I have to tell you that you better remember what you say and your claim. Because if I don't, the chat will. Welcome, ma'am, the only one. Please tell us what your thoughts are on this and if you are indeed Spider-Man's mom.
I am the future Spider-Man's mom.
Okay, cool.
So I do think that he is guilty. I think that he is guilty of murder. Maybe they can show some leniency and do second degree, but I do believe that he is guilty. And I know the Black community is going to eat me up for this.
Don't worry about it. It was never a card for you to lose. Don't worry about it. Last time I checked, when you go to bed and wake up in the morning, you're going to still have the same complexion.
You're right.
Okay, cool.
Well, the reason why I say this is because I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice and an associate's degree. And I also look at it from a socially acceptable standpoint too. Had it been a police officer tasing someone who was unarmed, they would have been like, oh, that force didn't need, that was escalation of force that he didn't need. Or if the police were allowed to carry knives and the police stab someone just because they pushed them, we as people would be upset, like, okay, that didn't match up. So why is it any different because they're a white kid and a black kid? Or two children. Also, the fact that you intentionally bought a weapon to school. Okay, let's say he was being bullied. I'm not negating the fact that they say that he was being bullied.
Right.
So if I'm being bullied and I take a knife to school, that means I have intent to use it because someone is emotionally harming me or physically harming me, and I want to retaliate against the person who I believe is mentally or physically harming me. I plan to do that.
Yeah.
Not saying that he planned to kill him,
But he planned
but
to use
he
something
definitely yes, you plan to use it, because if it's in the moment and we're in a tent and we're having an altercation, I'm picking up something that's near me that's already in the tent. I'm
Right.
not bringing something from
Specifically.
home.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So
I agree. And I think I have no problem with people believing that it's self-defense. I just wish you would give me a clarifying statement of what self-defense, in your opinion, actually would be. Because so far, no one has proved to me that there were even grounds of self-defense. And secondarily, if you're going to say that the defense didn't do their job, then you have to blame the parents that seem like they must want their boy in jail. I don't know what else you want me to think.
all right. So I do see that there's people in there that saying that he planned on protecting himself. And that may be the case. But if this is a one-on-one fight and this person does not have a weapon, I'm going to protect myself with my hands. And if I can't protect myself with my hands because he's getting the better of me, there are things in the area that I could have used to even the playing field besides stabbing the boy.
So,
I'm just saying.
And the other thing is this, right? So if you are being bullied, hear me out, people. Say you are being bullied, and these are the people bullying you. Why would you go to the location of your bully?
And not just that, but dead ass, I was bullied in high school. No, all jokes aside, I reported it to my teacher. She didn't do nothing about it. I told my parents, and my mom and my dad showed up to the bus stop. Because my dad, he didn't care on whether you were 5 years old or 55 years old. If you played with his kid, he was there. So my question is, like, who did Karmelo report the bullying to? Was it documented? Did he tell his parents that he was being bullied? Because also, master's degree in education, I've been a teacher for 5 years. So we do have policies in place
Yes,
in
you do.
schools where you are supposed to report bullying, and it's an escalation process. So is this documented? This
Right,
supposed
precisely,
bullying?
precisely. And I don't think that they have that grounds for proof. I'm not saying he didn't. I'm saying no one has proven to me that he has a paper trail of this happening. Again, though, if that is the case, that these people specifically were your bullies, I will run through rain to get back to my tent. You will never see me go into their tent to get dry. Hell, I will soak my butt. I'll catch pneumonia. Negro, I will die of sepsis before I go into that tent to get my ass whooped. I'm good. I'm good on that. If you my bully and you are 20 pounds heavier than me, 7 feet taller than me, my ass is going to some. I will sit down on the track in a puddle of water and have that thing seep up my crack and out my nose before I sit amongst my bullies. So that
Right.
theory does not make sense to me. It had to be that he's trying. Say he was bullied, and he's going there to take care of it. Okay, cool. I'll give you that, but it's not self-defense. That's intentional going to antagonize to fix something.
All right.
So I
I
can't
don't
give you
know.
that. I can't give you that. But thank you so much for coming up, ma'am, and good luck with the new next Miles Morales.
Thank you.
All right, bye. As for where's that clown, Mr. King Paradise? You can't tell me to shut nothing up because you don't own it, boy. Okay, you don't own it, boy. Go talk to your mama with that mouth, not to a grown man. Ain't no self-defense here if you come with that nonsense across this fence. This is a warning. You know how you like to say that, you were warned. You're on Karmelo's side. This is my warning, and I don't have a backpack neither. I don't got a backpack. I don't have a weapon. I got these. So you come talking that nonsense on my side of the field, and I'm going to introduce your stomach to the contents of your mouth, which are your teeth. And you're going to have to eat through a straw for at least a few days, minimum. At least a few days. All right, Tubby? Cool. So in your idea of self-defense, this is my idea of self-defense. I'm defending myself, dummy. Anyway, thank y'all for the conversation, though. It was cordial. We turned out okay. Ain't no real fighting that happened except for one person jumping up to talk nonsense. But I do believe that he is guilty of murder, and I am okay with the verdict. We'll see what happens with the sentencing and see what happens with the ensuing appeal. This could stay or it could turn to manslaughter. I don't see it going any other way. I don't. But again, thank you. Y'all have a grand rest of your day. I'm going to take off and go deal with my day. Peace out, people.